So happy for you. Yay.
Hello.
Hi, I'm looking for Lou.
You're speaking to.
Hi, Lou. This is Ryan Token. You responded to my Craigslist ad. I'm a representative of the Book Winners of America. We were looking for people to be in part of our focus group for children's books.
I just remember which ad was that.
Oh, that's not a problem. I have no problem going over the ad. So basically, we have been put in charge of several authors who do children's books, and
What type of book?
children's books, like for people's childs. Okay, and we're basically looking for 30 people who will receive $1,200 to be part of the focus group. So,
okay.
And so,
how do we get started? Just curious.
Well, that's the good thing is see, tonight is pretty simple. I mean, ultimately, there'll probably be like probably 3 of these stages. And the first tonight is just hearing titles and telling, and just giving response on a title.
Okay.
And then then our second session will actually be hearing a few of the stories and then giving feedback. In the third one, we will actually mail you books, and you look at the illustrations and stuff like that, and then you give your feedback on that. So, I mean, that's kind of how it goes, and you get $1,200, and it's pretty simple. I mean, my company does this all the time. We don't always do it with children's books, but the children's books it's a little more involved because they're for kids. So.
I have a kid, so that works out well for us.
Okay. Well, I actually have an author. His name is Justin Ross. He's on with us. He is probably I think it was over the last decade. He has written like 40 children's books, and he has a whole list of titles that and some are his and some are other people's. And we're just going to go ahead and I'm going to have him read some to you, and you just give your opinion, okay?
Okay, go.
Okay, Justin, are you there?
Yes.
All right. Justin, this is Lou, and all you have to do, we've been over this, but just so you know, Lou, he's just going to read the titles, and then you just give your feedback. Is it a good title? Is it not? Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. All right, go ahead and start.
The first one is Where's Pedo?
Okay.
And you're it's okay if you have questions too. We're not here to be restrictive, so if you say, well, what's the subject matter, something like that, so that's fine.
Yeah, so, I'm curious. What is the subject matter, and what's the age bracket of the child?
For this particular story, or?
Yes.
For this particular story, it's Where's Pedo? It's kind of like a Where's Waldo's book, but you have to pick out the creeper in the crowd. The guy who kind of looks like he would be like a person who would touch children or something like that. It's kind of like an I Spy for kids. That way they can kind of keep their eyes open and kind of make it a fun game as well.
I see. And what age bracket for the child? I mean, is it
we're looking from the ages 6 to 9.
Okay, that's good. Any focus, male or female?
Either or. We just want kids to be on the lookout for, potential weird fellas or stuff like that. Yeah, creepy people. That's why we call it Where's Pedo.
Okay. 1 second. Let me get into a quiet space so I can really hear you.
Perfect.
Just walking around before, so.
Great.
Okay, I'm in a quiet spot. So Where's Pedo was the first one.
Okay. Keep going. Keep going,
the
Justin.
The next one is I've Got Soap in My Rope. And it's a kid's story about bath times, basically for like young boys, stuff like that. Sometimes when they're washing themselves, they might get soap in it, and it's kind of like a story about this kid who's taking a bath, and he gets soap in it, and he kind of gets pain, and his mom's trying to explain to him what's going on and stuff like that, and why it burns so bad.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, and what's your feelings on that one?
soap on a rope. I don't like that so much because
Okay.
that's sort of a, it's a joke. You know what I'm saying? Among like prisoners and things of that
Oh,
nature.
yeah. No.
You know that
No.
young men typically, you end up in jail. Don't go.
Yeah,
soap on a rope.
yeah. That's
That's
some
a good one.
Yeah, that's some good input right there. So basically, that title might be good for somebody who is a criminal between the ages of, I would say, 17 to probably 22 or so, just as a scare tactic. So maybe that would work as a title there. Okay, Justin, your next one.
Okay, the next one I have is called "This Cactus is a Prick," and it's basically about sharp objects and things like that. The main character is a cactus, and he's in the desert, and he goes around pricking people on accident, and the kids are getting hurt and stuff like that. So, kind of call it "This Cactus is a Prick." That way, kids know. They helps them learn like about sharp objects and stuff like that. Kind of like hot and cold and stuff.
No, too sexual for kids.
Okay.
Because that's something that they may hear. You're driving along with an adult and you call somebody a prick.
So-
no.
Ah, okay.
Sexual? Okay, so is what's a prick a reference to? I guess I don't know it as a sexual term.
It could be. For instance, if you call somebody a prick, somebody not, you're in traffic, you're an upset parent, you're trying to get your kid to school, it's not, you're running late.
Okay,
and
so it's kind of a
off,
swear
you call
word.
that-
Kind of a swear word.
Oh,
I didn't even
And-
think of that when I was writing.
So it comes off. If I understand you right, Lou, she's saying that it sounds a little too Jewish, like a little bit. It's a little too Jewy.
no, not quite Jewish. More, it's kind of it just has a lens that, like, you can call somebody a prick,
Oh.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Okay, so you weren't being anti-Semitic there. I misunderstood you. I thought you were being an anti-Semite. Okay. You're saying it sounds more like a swear word.
Right.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, Justin, your next one.
Okay, the next one is "Why Daddy Sleeps on the Couch," and it's basically a story about a mother and a father who don't get along all the times, and the kids kind of get caught up in the middle, and so the dad usually sleeps on the couch.
That's a good one. That's when you're going through a divorce. That's a good one. That's relatable. That's something where it offers an explanation and gives them some insight into male-female relationships that aren't going well.
In that particular book, Lou, there was there actually is it's only a 24-page book, and there's actually 6 pages of domestic violence having to do with the marriage falling apart. Do you think that is too much for a 7-year-old?
I think at the times that we're living in, I think that it's a reality for some 7-year-olds.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking when I was writing it.
Okay.
I mean,
Kids
it
can relate.
is a reality. Because,
Okay.
you see, for instance, we had that news story about Ray Rice, and, there was no doubt that this guy, decked his girlfriend / wife now, and it's always been said in the news how they claimed that she hit her head on a bar. But the part that was missed is that in another part of the media, they talked about she spit on him.
Yeah.
And that's what prompted.
This one, the first page, the dad, or the first page of the 6 that were part of the domestic violence, the dad finds a text message that is sexual in nature to his brother, which sets him into a rage, and he actually was drinking. He came home from the bar, and so it turns into like just a big brawl, and so then it's 6 pages of him just beating up the mom, and the son watching.
Yeah, that's the reality of it all, and,
Okay.
and that's a testament.
So that
to
might be okay
drinking.
still.
That
Okay.
might be okay.
Yeah.
Drinking too. That's the thing too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Adult excess.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it captures all the major kind of the gunpowder, that's setting it up. So, okay,
Right.
Justin, what's the next story?
I got another one. It's called "Jesus the Mexicant," and it's a story about a little Mexican kid who basically can't, kind of like Thomas the Train or anything like that. I think I can, I think I can. Well, this kid goes around saying that he can't all the time, so I named it Jesus the Mexicant.
Okay.
Now, wouldn't Jesus be translated in Spanish as Jesus?
Yes, you could. Yeah, I guess it depends on who's reading it.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
Yep.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it's just in English it's pronounced, Jesus, but yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
I don't know. You don't want to encourage can't with kids.
Okay, but do I think the moral of the story, because kind of based on some of our other reviews of the story, the moral of the story is you don't want to set kids up for major disappointment, because see, in life you're probably not going to become a millionaire rock star, but if your whole life you were told you could do anything you want, then when you do realize that you can't, the fall is much greater and it hurts more. It leads to drugs and depression, sometimes suicides. And so what I think the moral of the story is don't set your bar up too high, because then if you do fail, you don't fall as far.
I don't like that so much.
Okay.
Especially too with the child's thing, or the title being Jesus can't. That could potentially be considered a racial, not that being Latin is a race or anything like that, but that could be perceived in a negative sort of way. And with kids, you want to encourage the things that they can do. So I don't think that talking about can't.
Okay.
I don't.
Yep.
That's
fine. Yep. No, your opinion is noted. I mean, that's what this is all about. It's just your opinion. Okay, Justin, the next title.
The next one I have is, let me see here, going down my list. Oh, Why Did God Make Me Gay?
Okay.
Oh, that's a good one. I think that's what age is that supposed to be for?
Anywhere from 6 to 9.
That's pretty young to think of sexuality.
Well, they say 6 is the new 16, so they, we're trying to just get it out there, because there are some confused kids that go around not necessarily relating to who they are as themselves and feeling like they're trapped in somebody else's body.
And there's a lot of research that has shown that as young as 9 months, children make the choice of being straight or gay. There's a lot of research out there that says that.
Point me in that direction. Want to see that research. I don't know. That one's a 16 and 16. I think that there's something to that. Definitely. I'm a parent.
But you're thinking maybe a little bit older. Maybe
I'm thinking a little bit older. I'm thinking more
after puberty.
Maybe going just before, like tweens, like 10 to 11, when they're getting ready to go to middle school.
Okay.
Because there's time. There's the interaction with your peers and stuff in elementary school. And there's things that will form in that first few years where it becomes more apparent if girls are, if males are more effeminate.
Okay.
I think that it becomes more obvious what's going on with them. I mean, it's okay to play dress up and things like that. I mean, and wear heels and all that when you're a small little boy, but as time goes by, and as things start to, as you start to develop more, and as you know more about sexuality, and, because they showed the movie. They showed the movie in like
okay, Justin, what's your next title?
My next one.
The puberty's going to come on. So
the next title is.
Just shut the fuck up. Hold on. The next title.
The next title is The Dog Ate My Homework, Then Shit in My Backpack.
Okay, I like it.
Okay.
It's a story basically about a kid who brings dog poop to school in his backpack, and the teacher asks him why did he do it, and he says the dog ate his homework, and that is his homework.
Yep.
Oh,
So you
okay.
know it's a new twist on the old excuse, which is the dog ate my homework. Well, if that's the case, then the kid should bring in the dog feces and then place it on place it in the pile of done papers, because that's literally where where it is, right?
Yeah. Okay.
New twist,
mean,
a new twist on an old saying,
an old
right?
concept.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well done, Justin. I think that one was well delivered.
Thank you.
Okay. Next one, Justin.
Who is the stranger that crawls in the window when Dad's at work?
Oh.
Okay, this is another more modern social issue. These used to be ignored. That housewives typically have many lovers. I mean, statistically, it's very likely that housewives are going to have several lovers, and young children are likely to witness these lovers coming over when the dad's working. So
Like
this
the
is
milkman's kid.
yeah. So I mean, based just statistically, 90% of housewives are just this is what's happening. So we think that the kids should be taught in a book who this person is and why it's important to be quiet and not tell dad.
It's kind of like teaches kids to keep secrets.
Yeah, I suppose that that's a mom-dad issue. I mean, it's that's wow. We are in a modern age. I guess that one's fine. I think that one's fine. I think that
Okay.
Not necessarily.
Well, what you don't want is that book is kind of the predecessor concept-wise, like the building blocks of learning. That book should help avoid the one where the other book where the dad got drunk and the domestic violence and all that. Why the dad's sleeping on the couch. Because if the kid knows how to be quiet, then it's more likely that these things won't interrupt the family. So it's kind of a two-parter book. Teach the kid why what to do and why it's important. So, okay, Justin, your next one.
There should be something missing there, though. That whole the guy that comes in the window and all of that. There just seems to be something missing there. I mean, most kids are groomed by moms of what to say and what not to say. Okay. And I think that they wouldn't say anything regardless, unless it became, until they got older.
Right.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't think because most small children are with their mothers, and I think mom would be.
Well, this book is actually at a 5 to 7 year old reading level, so it's written that way. So it's for younger kids. I mean, older kids could read it too, but we hope by then that they're already exposed to why it's important to not tell dad. So, okay, Justin, your next book.
They're being groomed. They're being groomed like by mom, though.
Basically, because right. I mean, statistically, housewives are just gonna cheat. I mean, there's just, you might live in an area, you might be lucky, and you might have a mom who doesn't just give it away, but most do. So, all right, Justin, your next book.
Okay, the next one is, why does the dog eat peanut butter off Papa's lap?
Eat what?
Why does the dog eat peanut butter off Papa's lap?
No. Don't like that at all. Back to that sexual connotation. No.
Okay, well, what it is basically, again, studies are showing that with the acceptance of new sexual lifestyles, that we see that it's only a matter of time before there's a demand and probably a push for rights for interspecies relationships, and we're just trying to be ahead of the curve on educating children on why
acceptance.
Yeah, acceptance, because it started with religion acceptance, racial acceptance, sexual acceptance, or like sexes, like men and women. Now it's gone to sexual, like bisexual, transsexual. So it's based on the patterns that we're seeing, it's only it's definitely going to go to interspecies. And so, that being said, we're just trying to be a little bit ahead of the curve. We're a little bit progressive. We understand that, but the concept is make people acceptive of if Papa, Grandpa in this case. If
No, I have a question. But I have a question.
Sure, go ahead.
Why is it? Why? Where's the boundary? See, that's something.
Oh well, that's not us to judge. That's we just write the book. Ultimately, the laws are the boundaries, and right now the laws, just like they were discriminating against homosexuals and women and minorities many years ago, are currently discriminating against man-beast love. And as laws change, then these books will become in demand. So, but that one again, you just think it's a little too sexual, regardless, right? So
I believe in a certain level of conservatism when it comes to children and exposure. Based upon, there's plenty of time for that.
Yeah, hold on. So children and exposure. I'm just taking. So you said so. There's plenty of time for children and exposure. So that may be more of an adult book.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Perfect. It's noted. Justin, your next story.
My Willie Has Whiskers.
What has whiskers?
My Willie Has Whiskers. It's a story about pre-puberty.
Okay, I like that. Okay, that's I'd be curious to see what sort of pictures come with that one.
Yeah.
But I think that's an education. I perceive that to be education regarding male sexuality.
Yes.
The coming of age and so forth, because between the 11 and 14, there's a whole lot of stuff going on.
It can be quite confusing.
Yeah, the actual cover of the book. You said you were interested in the illustrations. The actual cover of a book. We actually have it's basically, it looks like a penis, right? I mean, it's not too graphic, but it actually, we put on one of those, so you have the penis and you have the testicles, but between the penis and testicles, and it's looking forward to you, it's almost like a mustache with like a handlebar twirly mustache, so it's we
thought about making it a pop-up book.
Yeah. So that
ought to be interesting. I think that's fine. I think
okay.
In that particular case,
it's put a little comedy in it, right? I mean, it's make it a little less uncomfortable.
Education.
Yeah.
Exactly, but that's educational.
Would you buy it? Let me ask you, because the book cover has had some mixed. Would you buy a book to help educate your children if it was a penis and a testicles with a mustache with the little twirly, like the little twirly round up kind of Irish look, and it said "My Willie Has Whiskers"? Would that be something based on the picture and the title alone? Would you buy that?
Possibly, I give that. Possibly.
Okay. Maybe it'd be curious. It'd make you curious enough to probably look into it, right, before you bought it.
Correct.
Make sure you're not buying something weird. Okay. All right, Justin, your next book.
The next one is Mama, Why Do They Call Me Darky?
Ooh, that could be a good one. I mean, if you're a dark-skinned black child, that may vary, and you're only in an environment with other. The other kids around you are fair-skinned or of another race. Yeah, that could be depending on the depth of that book. Let that child know that they're different.
Yeah, well, it's actually a kind of a retro throwback book, because Darky's not really used much anymore. So it takes place in the 1930s, and. So it's a highly racial book that it ends up with, the young black male who takes his mom advice and stands up for himself and says, "You can't call me Darky." He ends up getting not only beaten but hung, and that's the last page.
Beaten by who?
Beaten by the racist white people and then hung. That's the last page. So the moral of the story is just go with it.
But then how do you? I don't like that. Then
okay.
I don't like that at all.
Yep. No, that makes sense.
Change.
Yeah. So maybe that story is just a little too outdated.
I think so, because how do you? It's good to stand up for yourself, And that's how change starts, when you speak up. When you see an injustice and you speak up. We're not in those times any longer. As
No.
Ferguson is
If you were forced to buy that book, what price tag would you be willing to buy it at?
If I were forced.
Yeah, if you didn't have a choice, you had to buy it. What, because obviously your opinion's kind of you wouldn't buy it, but if you had to buy it, what price tag would you consider fair?
$5.99.
Okay, all right. Let me just document that. All right, Justin, the next book.
Okay. Why does mommy wear glitter and perfume while she walks down the road?
Ah, yes. This is a story.
Okay.
This is the story of an inner city child who has a single mom who is in prostitution, which in the inner cities, in the bad areas, is a real problem. And so, the author feels that this book, although it is a niche market, definitely has a market to help explain to children what their mom does.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I think that may be valid. Because we live in those sorts of times where women, will suffer from a what's it called, economic loss much more quickly, especially if you're a minority woman.
Right.
Okay, a minority woman will typically, divorce or finances and things of that nature.
Yeah.
And you have children, often you have to do.
So, Justin, it looks like she wants you to turn it from a white woman into a black or Mexican woman to better fit the stereotype.
Okay, that's all in illustrations department. I mean, we could change it to whatever.
Okay, perfect. Okay, all right, Justin, you probably got a few more of these, right? Probably two or three?
Yeah, I have a few more.
Okay, go ahead and give another one.
Love blisters.
What blisters?
Love blisters. It's a story about sexually transmitted diseases for children, so that way they can kind of relate to them a little bit better, so they don't have such awkward names.
Okay. What age for that?
We're thinking 9 to 13.
I think that's a good idea to discuss that. Yeah, I think that's a good title too for that particular age bracket, because sexuality is a thing in our society, and they should know all that comes with it before you decide to leap out there.
Exactly.
Okay.
I think that's an excellent thing.
Okay. All right. All right, Justin, let's do two more. So let's go ahead and unload the last two real good ones.
Okay, I'm going to go through my list here. Okay, why does my brother wash his pee-pee so much in his room?
Oh, gosh.
It's a story about a little boy who walks in on his brother doing, you can obviously use your mind for this one.
Yeah.
And he says that he's washing it so his brother doesn't think anything different of it.
I would say that's probably a good thing to discuss too, because it lends the area. It brings clarification on sexuality. How does that end?
We're still working on the ending, but we think it's going to be a happy ending.
Okay.
Perfect.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think that's a good title.
Okay.
I like it.
All right, and Justin, let's go ahead and do the last one.
Okay, the last one is called The Boy Who Cried, Shut the Fuck Up.
What? Shut the fuck up? What was it again?
The Boy Who Cried, Shut the Fuck
Shut
Up.
the fuck up. Okay, what is that about? What is that?
It's about a kid who always yelled "Shut the fuck up," and he got in trouble by his parents a lot. They were trying to explain to him, "You can't always cry. Shut the fuck up."
I see. What's appropriate and what's not. Okay. Then the title, if that's
Right. I mean, we could put a couple
of
of little symbols in there instead of fuck. We could take the UCK and put like a hashtag or a $sign or something in there.
Yeah,
Just so
I mean,
they get what it means, but they wouldn't actually see the word.
I think that that's great in terms of teaching children what's appropriate to say and what's not. You know, if you don't want to say "shut the fuck up" in church, that could be embarrassing to the parents.
Yes.
You know, so
Yes, it could.
Even if you feel that way, you know, teaching right and wrong. Okay, I like it.
Okay. All right, Lou. I guess we did really good here. So I think what we'll do is I'm thinking next week we'll actually have a full story, and a full story or two, and we can do that. And then after that, we'll go ahead and get the art out to you, and you can give us your take on the artwork, see how it fits. So, no, thank you for being completely honest. I mean, I have some really good feedback off of you, and
absolutely. Thank you so much.
You seem to have a very progressive attitude about how we have to inform the youth these days versus just trying the old standbys, don't masturbate or you'll go blind, those kind of things.
That doesn't work. Did that work in the past?
No. So,
although you probably
saying, it didn't work then, it probably is not working now.
Yeah.
And kids are much more sophisticated because of the content on television, and just in terms of games and so forth.
Yeah, and it's
much more.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching Disney Channel with my son the other day, and I couldn't believe it. They actually had on one of those shows. I don't know what it is. It's kind of like an iCarly ripoff type of deal. They actually had a 12-year-old girl in stilettos and thigh-high stockings running around trying to ask a boy out on a date. And anywhere kids go these days, it's in their face. So our company.
People say Disney's evil, because they don't seem to realize that the content they put on is inappropriate. There's never any adult.
Well, 12-year-olds probably shouldn't be dressing like hookers. I mean, that's as simple as it gets. And for some reason, they thought that was okay. And the boy she was chasing around was actually the married gym teacher. I don't know the name of the show, but it was very bizarre. I think it's
called Skeet Skeet. I think that's the name of the show.
So, okay, is that one? Okay. I don't know. I had my son, he was watching Mickey Mouse Club, and it came on after. So,
Yeah, I think it's Skeet Skeet. I'm pretty sure that's the name of it.
Okay, well, Lou, we got a few more calls we got to make tonight, but you did great. Thank you, and we'll get back in touch.
All right, I have a question.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
All of this, there was an ad on Craigslist. This does sound familiar. There was an ad on Craigslist in that $1,200 and so forth.
Correct.
How many of these feedbacks will need to happen? Just kind of curious. I mean,
we picked 30 people at random. We're just
really?
one of them. Yeah, you're just one of them. If I remember right, they told me there was like 900 responses to the ads.
I think it was close to almost 1,000.
Yeah, and we just your name was grabbed out of random, and you answered the phone, so it got you onto the stage. So.
All right.
Yep.
Okay then.
Yep.
And then how many more of these phone calls will we do?
Just one. We do one more phone call. One more phone call, which will be the stories, right? The stories, and then I'll have to check with the illustration department, but they're either going to mail you the books or give you a website to go to see the books. I'm not 100% sure.
I believe they're doing the website because they don't want to disclose too many people's addresses and stuff like that.
That makes sense. We don't want to look like we're data mining. So
right.
Okay.
My next question
yes.
is how would you be paid then?
Visa gift card in the mail.
Yep.
A gift card a Visa gift card in the mail.
Yep.
Well,
it's the same as cash.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yep.
Okay. Wow.
Yep.
Well, I'm that lucky one. Okay, well, Thank you so much.
Yep. All right. We'll be in touch. Thank you, Lou. Have a good night. Bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Jesus Christ.
Poor lady. Poor lady.
What the